You are the conceptualizer and you are the advisor. I am the implementer.
An all too familiar picture in the House of Representatives. But those moments of humor aside, this chamber is usually the site for serious business.
The highest consideration has to be given to the health of the people if we hope to give Jamaica the future that our children deserve.
So, looking on from the outside, have you ever wondered what goes into the planning and preparation for a day's meeting of the Houses of Parliament? Come with us now as we explore Parliament behind the scenes. Outside of regular meetings of Parliament, the atmosphere at Gordon House is that of any normal office, staff busy at work. With the two houses, the House of Representatives and the Senate, and over 22 committees to support, the work can be challenging and time-consuming. But the staff is equal to the task. The clerk to the houses heads the administrative division of Parliament and is assisted by a deputy, an assistant clerk, and a fourth clerk. Together, they are referred to as procedural clerks.
So we are the persons who advise the Speaker and members in the House, meetings of the House, on procedural matters. The assistant clerk is responsible for doing the minutes of proceedings, and minutes are to be done daily. So every meeting, minutes have to be done and presented the next day.
The assistant clerk is also responsible for keeping time during debates, alerting the House Speaker when a presenter's time has expired.
There is a second.
Member's time for speaking has expired.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the member's time for speaking be extended enough to allow him to complete his presentation.
The question is that the member's time be extended sufficiently for him to complete his presentation. Those in favour? Those against? Ayes have it.
A record must also be kept of all persons who contribute to debates, the length of time they speak, and even if they are given additional time to complete their presentations. As it relates to questions asked and answered in either house, the staff plays a critical role as well.
The deputy clerk has to get the question and order paper ready for the next meeting.
Whenever a member has questions to ask, they are put forward and presented to the House as a question paper. As with everything in Parliament, there are rules governing how questions are phrased and posed and how members bring a motion to the House. The clerk to the Houses also manages the production and the distribution of the order paper. This is simply a summary of the bills or legislation captured in the minutes which were brought to the House for some kind of action, whether for debates, amendments, or approval.
We have to see to it that bills, whether they're coming straight for the first time or they're coming from one house to the next, we have to ensure that they are printed on time. We have to vet them for form and content. And in the case of like orders, we have to make sure that the right authority is cited in the body of the thing, and to make sure that the authority, what is being required of the House, there is authority for it. So these come to us from, say, ministries. Even though they come, in the form ready to be laid, we have to vet them just to be sure, because it's coming from us.
Procedural clerks and other administrative officers also manage the minutes taken during committee meetings and regular sittings. This entails a series of very important steps that begin at Parliament and can go all the way to the Supreme Court.
The action usually is we do an extract of the minutes for, say, if an order was done for the Ministry of Finance, for argument's sake, we have to send an extract to the Ministry of Finance so they know that this matter was dealt with. When we do exemption motions for members, and these are the members, under the Constitution, the members are required to make declarations of any company that they're a director in that does business with the government, among other things. But we give them a copy of that extract and we send that to the Contractor General. When bills are passed, we have to send those to the Attorney General to get him to give what we call an interim certificate stating that the bills meet the requirements of the Constitution, and then we send them to the Governor General for assent. When they receive the Governor General's assent, we have to notify the Ministry of Justice, and we send those to like the courts and the President of the Court of Appeal and the Registrar of the Supreme Court, just for them to know that these bills are passed. This is now the law. In particular, when there are amendments, they need to know that.
In addition to the clerks, the Houses of Parliament also have supporting units.
We have the committee coordinator who heads the committee unit. We have a librarian. We have a chief stenotype writer who is a person who is a chief person for the verbatim notes. And we have a Hansard editor.
Hansard recorders are tasked with recording word for word everything that has been said in the House. This data is then taken to another section of the Hansard department, where it's typed out as an official document and bound, becoming the lasting record of Parliament. There is also a Legislative Council, which provides independent legal advice to members and gives opinions on matters that are before the House. Other duties of the staff include alerting House members to upcoming meetings.
It used to be telegraph, now it's email contact, and if a member doesn't have email, we'll try to phone or pass a message to the person through other means. I mean, sometimes we've had to resort to calling party headquarters to make sure that people know things. And then they get an agenda which is prepared by the leader of the House, and he normally consults with his opposition counterpart, leader of opposition business in the House. And the same applies in the Senate.
Hours before the scheduled sitting, staff referred to as the orderlies assemble the order and question papers and table them in the House. Other documents such as speeches are also placed on each desk in the chamber. And before each sitting, ministers and House members may be served refreshments in a dedicated lounge. And then it's on to the chamber to handle the people's business.